y'all, this is Amanda with She's Mad Gardener. I am out in the backyard. It is Super Bowl Sunday, and so that means it's February. I'm in Wylie, Texas, and this is Zone 8A, and I'm in a tank top today. Texas weather is crazy weather. In 4 days, we have temperatures that are going to be in the teens, but today it's a little breezy. I mean, it's in the like mid 50s to high 50s, but I tend to be really warm-blooded anyway. So I'm almost always barefooted, and I'm almost always in tank tops if I can manage it. So anyway, out here today, I'm going to be doing some winter sowing using milk jugs. You've probably seen this method. I have a lot of fun with this method. My kids love doing this. But basically, we're going to take a jug or container of some type. You can use a soda bottle. You can use an orange juice bottle. It has to be translucent or transparent. It can't be a solid like cardboard, orange juice, or milk carton, something like that. It needs to be plastic. And we're going to be cutting around, starting at the handle. We're going to cut all the way around the jug. And we're going to stop with about 2 inches right here below the handle. We're going to leave those 2 inches together, and it's going to work as a hinge for this. And we'll poke some holes at the bottom. We'll fill it up with dirt. We'll plant seeds, and then we'll close it back up, tape it up, and this will act as a terrarium. And this is a way to kind of more naturally bring on your seeds. These can be left outside in the cold, and it kind of keeps them all warm and kind of gives them a little bit of a jump start for the spring, but still allows everything to occur kind of naturally outside, as opposed to bringing everything inside and using a grow light and all that kind of stuff. This is a way less expensive way to get a jump start on your seeds. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get these cut up and ready to go, and then my kids are gonna come out here, they're gonna fill them up with dirt, we're gonna plant seeds and get these ready to go. Okay, I use a utility knife to make holes in the base of the milk jugs. In the past, I've used some kind of screwdriver or the end of a pair of scissors, but I found that the utility knife is way safer. And then you can use the utility knife to kind of start the opening. After a while, I realized I brought out my scissors, and so I used the utility knife to start the opening, and then I went back with scissors to cut all the way around. Remember, as you're cutting around, you're not going to cut all the way through. You're going to leave a couple of inches still together right below the handle, and that will act as a hinge holding the entire thing together for you. Way easier at the end when you go back to tape everything up. Okay, let's put this in fast forward and get this going. And my little nosy puppy was out checking everything out, make sure there was no food left behind or anything for her to get into. And there she is, such a cutie. And here come all the kiddos, and we're about to get started. Filling it up with dirt.
Okay, all the way to
not all the way to the top, but pretty close to the top.
I meant like all the way to here.
Yeah. So filling this in.
And
Yeah.
it's not the Deo, right?
And then press it down in there too, okay?
This was not the Deo sticking up in
Where?
Okay, so about this much, y'all. Okay? Well, yeah, Jeffrey, suck it up. It's dirt. Get over it. Okay, once you're done, move it off to the side out of the way.
I'll just leave it down in case it's too hot.
Jeffrey, move over here a little bit so the thumb can be right there. And Ivy, move
Like
to that
this?
place. Yep. And then, wait, Ivy, so Ivy filled hers up, but bring it here, Ivy. And then you turn your hands. Firm it up, okay? All right. Everybody needs to, that's perfect, Donald. All done.
This
Okay, good. Let me see, Jeffrey, more. You need more soil.
What do we do
Here you
now?
go. Now push all that in. This one, Donald.
What are those white stuff in it?
That's just things that help keep water in the soil. Hold on, we'll put a little more on. Okay. The kids really do enjoy this process. They love getting in the dirt, filling up the milk jugs. They like using their fists to pound down the soil and level out the top for a place for the seeds. The boys did lose interest after a while, which is very typical of them, and then my daughter stayed behind to make sure everything was finished up and organized, which is very typical of her as well. But it is a fun project to do together, and we do this about every 2 weeks. Typically 8 milk jugs. Takes about half a bag of potting mix, which I think is pretty great. And like I said, we sow these in about 2-week successions, just to make sure we have a variety of plants going into the spring. 2. Mommy will do 2. Which ones are you doing, Ivy? 2? Okay. Okay, so we all have seeds to work on. Okay. Ivy, let's get you started on black-eyed Susans, ornamental grass. Donald, we'll get you started on calendula.
Where's the picture?
Don't open these yet. And marigold seeds.
Oh my
Actually, we're just going to do 2 things of calendula. Ivy, I think we might do... No, we'll start with this. Okay, Jeffrey, we're going to start on chives. And lambada. Don't, Jeffrey, sit in your ball. Everyone got their own seeds to plant. We read the directions on the back and sowed them to whatever depth the packet listed. We did some herbs, but this was mostly floral for our cut flower garden. Super fun. The kids love seeing the variety in the seeds, some being super tiny and some being larger, and talking about the different types of texture of each individual seed. And my daughter stayed behind to make sure everything was labeled correctly. We use plastic labels, we write the name on it, and we put them inside the jug. We used to write on the outside, but found that the sun and weather kind of wears off the pen. So we found that putting the actual label inside the jug where you can look through the hole into it works way better. After all the kids headed in, Buffy stayed outside to keep me company, and I came out with my Gorilla Tape and taped up all of the containers. I usually just rip off one long strip, close up the container to make sure I can still see the label inside, and then wrap the strip of tape around all the edges, making sure it's all sealed up. It is not perfectly smooth, it is not perfectly pretty, it just gets the job done. I prefer the Gorilla Tape over duct tape. I feel like it lasts longer, but that's a call for you. I highly suggest you just use what you have in your house first. Don't make a special trip to the store just for this particular tape. Once all the jugs are all taped up, I put them in a sunny spot where they will receive sun all day long. I also try to put them towards an area where they will receive a little bit of shelter from crazy weather. You can look directly into the holes at the top and be able to see the label at the bottom, which is fantastic. Do not put a top on or a lid on the top of these milk jugs. Leave them open, so make sure that you have air circulation and they are good to go. If you feel like they need to be watered throughout the season, you can use a spray bottle to spray in there. They shouldn't need too much. They should pick up just some of the stuff that we have going on outside in the weather with rain, any kind of dew, snow, etc. Okay, so you remember at the beginning of this video when I was outside in short sleeves, and later that week we started getting reports that we were going to be down into the teens, then we were going to be down into single digits, and then we were going to be below zero, which is insanity, you guys. I live in Wylie, Texas. I live in zone 8A. We don't get temperatures like this. So I did put frost cloth all over my gardens. I actually ended up going back and doing 2 layers, stapled them all down using wire garden stakes, and tried to protect everything the best I could. Put my beers outside to get cold, and then just waited for the snow to start piling up. It came a little bit at a time, and then by the end of the evening we were piled up to about this point. And then the next day we were outside having snowball fights. I do not have a greenhouse, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able to run a heater because we were going to be expecting blackouts. So we need to make sure we're using as little energy as possible. But I do look forward to showing you guys an update and letting you know how my gardens did through this whole crazy winter process. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to subscribe, and as always, she's a bad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be.